Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the Whisper messages were legal!
Ladies and gentlemen, today's story is a bit of a stinker, but I still want to talk about this situation, because it's actually insane. It appears that Dr. Disrespect has finally addressed the allegations made against him on one of his most recent live streams. And I'm making this video because I'm actually just appalled by some of the things that this man is saying, and I just want to get some thoughts off of my chest. If you guys don't know who Dr. Disrespect is, he's one of the biggest live streamers in the world. He has a massive following. He's known for playing video games, and I guess he's funny. I don't know. I don't watch a whole lot of his content. I've seen lots of videos of his in passing over the years, but I've never sat down to watch any of his videos or live streams, because I don't find him that entertaining, personally. But if you're watching this video, then I'm going to assume you find me entertaining, at least somewhat. So, click that subscribe button to stay updated when I upload a video. Dr. Disrespect was put under fire earlier this year because of some alleged inappropriate messages with a minor, and I'm going to stress this point. This is all alleged. Nothing that I am ranting about in this video is backed up with any facts outside of what we already know. And according to Dr. Disrespect, all of the allegations made against him have been settled, and so has this entire lawsuit. And he is an innocent man, a saint who can do no harm. I was watching a clip from one of the doc's most recent live streams where he breaks down the timeline of everything that's kind of played out, and I wanted to go over a bit of it and break it down for you guys a little. And I'm also going to give my 2 cents. But you already knew that. I'm not going to go through his entire live stream to cover everything that he said. I don't have the mental strength to put myself through that. But I am going to go over this footage that I found on Daily Clips Central. He made most of his main points in this short clip here, and I'm not going to lie to you guys. It doesn't look good.
Yeah, just keep ignoring the issue and putting up this act. God, I'm so concerned and worried about everyone else's problems except mine, because I'm dealing with a deeper depression, and I like to project.
The wall of cockiness is so fragile that a small fart could send it crumbling. I'm no psychologist, but this man is not comfortable right now, and it's obvious. His arrogance skill tree is maxed out here. Doc is really acting like all of this was just blown out of proportion, and that everybody is just projecting and depressed.
I guess since you all missed the point with my personal statement,
I don't think anybody missed the point of anything, buddy. I think you made your original, unedited statement quite clear to anybody with a good set of eyeballs. You said yourself that there were Twitch Whisper messages that you had with a minor in 2017. The conversations with this minor had an inappropriate nature to them, at least in part. So cut the crap and accept responsibility and understand that not everybody is going to welcome you back with open arms. And accept real responsibility, like actually on your live stream. Don't just do it on Twitter where half of your audience won't even see it. And I'd like to remind you all that Dr. Disrespect is in his 40s right now, so he was in his mid-30s when this whole situation happened. So that just makes this entire situation that much weirder.
Maybe it's time to tell my side of the story. Huh, champs?
I've gotta be honest. I hate his whole demeanor in this clip. He comes off so condescending. We already know your side of the story, my guy. But go off, I guess.
But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement. However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond. And again, champs, I respected all the confidential obligations.
All of this is standard for lawsuits. Doc is not a hero for upholding any of these confidentiality agreements. He's just abiding by the law.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally.
Doc seems to be confused here as to why this ex-Twitch employee would do something like this to him, begging him for an answer. He can't seem to wrap his head around the fact that he is being held accountable for being an absolute weirdo. I think the reason that Cody may have done this is because he might have thought that when a grown man in his 30s who live streams every day to thousands of children is found engaging in inappropriate messages with a minor on that platform, that is something that at least some people should be aware of. You know, especially parents who might have children that watch this guy's content. God, he's so frustrated here. And it's not the kind of frustration from being accused of doing something that he didn't do. It's more of like the frustration that all of this made it to the public's attention. Oh my God, this is so cringe.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do.
Okay. The way he goes on to emphasize that he knows the legal definition of the word sexting is very concerning. Like, buddy, if you actually have to know the legal definition of this word from front to back, that's weird, and that's kind of an issue, especially given the fact that these messages had to be examined for this lawsuit, meaning that they had to be deemed technically not sexting, air quotes, in order for the doc to win the case here. But I feel like what some people are not cluing into is the fact that in order for these messages to have to go through this process in the first place, there had to be a reason for it, and that reason was because that these messages were suspicious in nature, meaning that somebody at Twitch saw these messages and decided, that's kind of creepy, maybe we should look into this. And regardless of the verdict, the fact that it still needed to happen because you were riding the thin line of legal sexting is concerning, dude. You are a grown-ass man, and I feel like the only reason you would need to know the legal definition of sexting is so you can dance around the gray area of it. My god, this guy makes my skin crawl.
You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it. And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs.
I love how he wants to make it seem like he edited the tweets on purpose for the journalist to pick up on so he can really get a narrative stirring, you know? Which makes no sense at all. If you purposely edited the tweet, which part was supposed to be edited, guy? Did you purposely put the word minor in there only to erase it later, knowing the media would pick up on it? Because if that was your master plan, you're stupid, buddy. What kind of tactic is that? Make the public think you accidentally admitted to being a pervert? Like, what?
When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban.
This man is using the age of consent as a cushion, and it's honestly pathetic. His argument is basically, bro, she was at least 16, why are you so triggered? Like, are you kidding me? And I still think there's also an argument to be made about using your influence as a gateway to act inappropriate towards one of your viewers or supporters and think that you can get away with it.
You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight. I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever.
That stumble over the word never here makes me think that he really had to think twice about what he was saying here. Like that he had to be sure that they never met up in person or something. That's probably me just overlooking into it, but I'm a jerk, so.
Your bullshit accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack. These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now, don't you think, champs?
I mean, I guess on a technicality, the tweets that Cody put out were false, I suppose. Doc was just caught having an inappropriate conversation with a minor. And while I can agree to some degree that news outlets have become a source of gossip, it's not as if this statement was made out of thin air and just pulled from nothing. Cody may have definitely stretched the truth here, and I cannot argue that this may have been to grab headlines, but the fact that there were conversations with a minor that may have been inappropriate somewhat in nature still needs to be addressed, dude.
I even used the word inappropriate purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh?
You know, him saying here that he purposely put the word inappropriate in his tweet to stir up this conversation is not only just a stupid thing to say, but it's not true at all, man. You made this tweet in a panic because you saw your whole career flash before your eyes, and you got scared. So you threw this whole tweet together while shaking with anxiety, only to post it and shortly realize later that you messed up by incriminating yourself.
I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
Now, the doc is trying to explain all of this away as just friendly banter with some inappropriate jokes that just got taken out of context. Listen, buddy, I don't know what kind of zoo you're running, but I do know that when you have parasocial relationships as a result of your job, you need to keep it that way for the most part. Talking to your young fans and making inappropriate jokes with them is still unacceptable. You should not be doing that, especially for a grown man in his mid-30s to early 40s. It's weird behavior.
How would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words?
While sure, I can agree, there is room for Doc's argument here about people's DMs being made public, taken out of context and all that. That can happen, and it has happened. However, in this situation, there's also something to be said about people being given a reason to look into these messages in the first place. But according to the doc, this was only done with malicious intent as a way of hitting him with the "call an ambulance, but not for me," which could be the case. However, it's not like his ex-manager made this up. Who knows, maybe he knew about this before and was already on the fence about reporting it, and getting fired by the doc might have been the nail in the coffin. We don't know.
We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were legal!
Okay, with the amount of anger that Doc screams the word legal here, it has me thinking that that is his main argument in all of this. Buddy, just because it's legal doesn't make it okay. And honestly, I'm sure that Twitch banned you because they personally thought that you were a creep, only to later have to unban you against their will because of legalities and technicalities.
You see, I engage with my community. I engage with other streamers. And through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games and gaming politics, content creation, random stuff. This was the extent of my whispers with this Twitch user.
His statement here regarding the context of these messages kind of differs from the one in his original tweet, where he did say that they leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate. How come you're not mentioning that now? I know why. Because he's in front of all the people who watch him, and he wouldn't dare do that.
On June 21st, 2020, my ex-Twitch partner manager learns that I exchanged whispers with the Twitch user. And I say ex-partner manager because for years, this guy didn't do anything for me, my community, or my channel. For years. I'm talking no front page love. You're talking about the face of the platform. We got zero front page love on the website. It was never on my channel. He didn't follow me on Twitter. He wouldn't even inform us about Twitch rival tournaments. We're talking about the two-time.
I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that Doc's old manager really did not like him very much. And honestly, maybe there's a reason. Who knows?
The Twitch user tells the ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. I'll repeat that sentence one more time just in case anybody missed that one. The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
Okay, a lot to unpack here. But if somebody of influence messages and interacts with their fans, the last thing that that fan wants is to believe that those messages may have been inappropriate. Like, even if they can't legally classify it as sexting, this kid still could have felt very uncomfortable. They decided to file this report for a reason, not out of persuasion. The rest of this clip is just Doc continuously talking about the age of consent, specifically in this Twitch user's jurisdiction, which again is a weird thing to specify. And he continues to say that everything he did was technically legal and that this whole case is closed and finished. This entire clip, he's really riding the line of it's not technically sexting, it's not technically child abuse. And that is a wild argument to be making right now. How can you sit there with your nose pointed in the air, cocky as hell, with that cringe laugh, talking down to people like you know so much and you have all the cards in the right place, just because the law is on your side because of technicalities? That doesn't make this situation any less suspicious, especially the way he's talking about it. Honestly, it makes me happy that at least some people are seeing through this guy's BS, because regardless of how this entire lawsuit played out, it still happened for a reason. Twitch did not make this ban up out of thin air. It's a good thing that this situation is being talked about, honestly, because people need to be held accountable for this kind of stuff, especially people in Doc's position. But I already know how this entire situation is going to play out. Dr. Disrespect is going to continue streaming and acting like this entire thing never happened, which, given his popularity, is the most realistic outcome. As horrible as it sounds, stuff like this happens all the time, and it seems like people are hardly ever held accountable. And I hope that changes. And I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I wanted to talk about this story because it really makes me sick when people of influence get called out for stuff like this, and then throw tantrums when they are held accountable for their actions. This response that Doc has made has not changed my opinion of him that I've garnered over these past few months. In fact, I think it's gotten worse after having to watch him give off this forced, unbothered, tough guy persona. It really makes him look like an unpleasant person with zero self-awareness, and I hope that I don't have to consume any of his future content. If you guys enjoyed this video, then be sure to drop a like. It means the world to me. And subscribe if you haven't already. Stay frosty, be good people, and I'll see you next time.